The first one is we have to get back to the Constitution.
Okay.
We've also got to just completely audit our entire state. Fraud, waste, abuse, corruption, up to over $30 billion worth of corruption. Then the Democrats voted unanimously against it because they don't want that investigation happening.
How's that case, that investigation going? Those pedophile rings in the governor's office.
No, that's actually going really well.
Do you know of actual kids that are being victimized right now? If he wins primary, there will be no support from you.
Victor can't win. They're going to destroy him. He's trying to save his ministry right now. His ministry is crashing and burning. His followers are bailing like crazy. And every time he does an interview, they bail more. There's still a better choice out there. Greg Lopez is 10 times better choice than Victor Marx. If it's Barb Kirkmeyer, we still have a candidate. I don't think it's the best candidate, but we have a candidate. Phil Weiser is broken, he's corrupt. Bennett's no better. I cannot vote for broken and corrupt.
You ready? You frosty?
Oh, yeah.
Do I need to turn this on?
What do you have in your ears?
Is it on?
It's my phone.
It's what?
It's my phone.
Do you need earmuffs? Earmuffs?
no.
I have extras.
These are better than... I can't hear anything you're saying right now.
That might be an issue.
What?
Huh?
All right, let's kick this off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Carry Podcast. Got an exciting episode today, another Shooting Pod episode, the Gubernatorial Shootout series, and we are here with Scott Bottoms. How are you doing today, sir?
I am dandy. Looking forward to this.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it. We're going to have a couple of different competitions that we're going to go through on the range here today. We're going to start out and warm up, and we're excited to get to it. Let's have some fun.
Sounds great.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Spang lead.
So how's things been?
Very good. We're, of course, we're all over the state. That's, we came from, just this morning, we came from Otis. You know where Otis is?
That is way out there.
It's way out there.
Yeah.
It was a great event. We did that last night. And we're just all over. We're gaining momentum everywhere. We are, statistically, we are way ahead of the other two candidates. We're pretty excited about that. And I won the assembly, so that makes it nice too. So raising money, that's always a thing. We're doing better on that. That's getting more fun actually. And we've just got a bunch of new videos and things that are coming out that are a lot funner also. So we're in a good place. A really good place.
Cool. Good to hear. Well, we've been looking forward to this day since that episode we had with you whenever you teased us about your Rose Gold 6 Hour and how you could outshoot everybody.
Yeah.
So we're excited to be on the range with you.
Those two are not connected, but yes. I can outshoot everybody and I have a Rose Gold.
Oh, okay. Let's clarify that.
Those are two different things. And we're hoping they work together today. So
sounds good.
I can outdrive most Jeep people, but I don't have a pink Jeep.
That is true. You see that
so
pink Jeep back there?
So it all ties together.
It all works out in the end. Did you get that Oodalali Coffee pink Jeep over there?
Brought to you by Oodalali Coffee. Sponsors every episode. Thank you, Oodalali. You do a great job.
Yes, they do. Mag is getting showered with shell casings.
That's going to be a cool shot, though.
Were these?
Meg has taken 3 solid rounds of shell casings.
Were these fake rounds?
Yeah, they were.
Those were blanks. Yeah.
These blanks?
Those were blanks.
That was good. That was funny. You all right?
Yeah, that's not as easy as it looks. Hey,
All right.
she's up in the fire. She's got to do that. It's her job.
Oh, that was epic.
Oh. Nice. Good shooting.
I was going much slower.
Yeah, I was
Well, I had real bullets. You had
Oh, yeah, I'd blank.
you had blanks.
I'd blank.
The whole point was to set you up for
Yeah.
epic failure with a rose gold gun. This is all we've been talking about.
Then-
How can we make poor gubernatorial Scott Bottoms?
You slid one live round in there.
It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
That's cool, though. I'd love to do that all the time.
Yeah, that thing's on the move.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's even more fun when it's full of paddles.
You want to flip some back and forth here?
Yeah. Let's get a duel going.
Hey, so while we're loading up, your biggest driver for the state of Colorado right now, as far as what you want to achieve, if you had to pick, say, your top three, what's that look like to you?
Well, the first one is we have to get back to the Constitution.
Okay.
We're just not. We're not going by the Constitution on anything, which is why 71% of all of our tax dollars are going around Tabor. That's not legal. That's not constitutional. They're not allowed to do that, but they do it anyway. That's why they can attack Tabor. They passed a new. Well, this was actually a resolution this year. It's Senate Bill 135 that's going to raise the Tabor cap for 10 years.
Right.
And the bill actually says, and most of it's going to go to education.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean?
Sure.
That's not constitutional. They're not allowed to do that, but they keep doing it. And so the first one is constitutionality, and that's going to affect Tabor Second Amendment. That's going to affect parental authority. It's going to affect a lot of things. And part of the overall picture is if we get back to the Constitution, then we're protecting parents again. We're protecting kids again. All of this transgender stuff is not constitutional. It's very dangerous for our country. It's dangerous for our state, and it's dangerous for our kids.
Yeah.
It's not a good place to be allowing these hormonal therapies and these transition surgeries, these transgender surgeries, to be done on minors. In fact, and I think I said this last time we talked, but to me that's pedophilia. If you're messing around with little kids and I'm saying kids down to like 12, but they give hormonal therapies as young as like 5 or 6. Right. But if you're cutting genitals off or breast off of kids that are 12, 13, 14 years old, that's pedophilia in my opinion. And that needs to stop. And that's going to be a legal thing. That's going to be a constitutional thing. And we're just going to have to keep fighting that at every level.
Yeah.
But I would say that's my biggest ones right there. We've also got to just completely audit our entire state. Fraud, waste, abuse, corruption. I tried to get a resolution run my last week in the House. And the reason it was my last week, because we had to force the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader to actually run the resolution. We had to force them legally. Because the resolution is to investigate the Supreme Court, the justice system, and Attorney General Weiser for a bunch of corruption, up to over $30 billion worth of corruption. And they finally let me run it, and then the Democrats voted unanimously against it because they don't want that investigation happening.
Because
it'll
reveal it.
Yeah. But and here's part of the thing with that is, and I keep saying this, and this is the legal stuff we sent to the Democrats.
Senate-elect Teddy Collins coming over here.
He's going to show us how it's done.
Let's put fake bullets in his gun too. That would be fun.
Hey, we got snap caps for you. Just,
What's up, guys?
how you doing, brother?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Coming today. I knew you were coming today, just not the time.
I didn't say
are you?
10 a.m. My
No.
bad.
Hey,
Not in
hey,
text. It just said
don't
I'll
leave
see you
brother hanging.
Friday. Okay. All right, man.
Well, thank you. All-star host here.
Did you get a new
Yeah.
Tesla?
No, it's a loaner. I got my car in the shop.
Oh.
So yeah, fun stuff.
We're going to have to get a speed loader for Scott.
I've got one
Let
over
me
there.
go get my ear pro real quick.
I'll go grab one.
You gotta help the old people.
How old are you?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right now I'm like 80.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you brought up all of what you brought up, and that's obviously a huge issue. And I think that most Republican voters, and hopefully we have a wave of some independents that are really starting to see the problems that we're having here in Colorado with exactly these types of policies that are putting kids not only at risk, but victimizing kids.
Right.
But because you brought that up, I'm very curious, and I know there's a lot of people out there very curious, how's that case, that investigation going that you have made mention to in the past about those pedophile rings in the governor's office?
No, that's actually going really well. That part is kind of the most exciting. So I started this about 2.5 years ago, right? Talking about it, trying to figure out how to get somebody to help me, groups to help me. It just wasn't getting any traction. I did have a couple groups say, for $100,000, and I'm not picking on them. We just don't have that kind of money. And so so everything is in the FBI now. The FBI, I just got a text a couple days ago from more information, or what about this, whatever. So I don't know how fast the FBI is moving, but I do have 2 other groups now, 2 private organizations that this is what they do, and one of them does one thing, one of them does the other thing. I don't want to tell you what they do, but so now we may actually be able to get some information out here pretty quick. When I'm saying pretty quick, I'm saying like before the election, general election, not the primary, but at least our timelines is not totally whatever the FBI is doing. And we'll give them the information that we find. We won't leave them out, but they do know I'm working with private groups now, and they do know that we will turn it over to them, but we will also bring it out publicly as we see fit, according to what kind of evidence we uncover. There's certain kind of evidence I think you could only really give to the FBI. But then I don't know for sure all that's going to work, but I'm pretty excited about these other 2 groups. It is costing some money, but I do think I have some, I think I have some financial backers to help us to pay for. There's a lot of things that they do that costs them money, but really one of the groups is doing it all for free, and the second one is who we're actually paying.
So I think the most important question when we're asking about this, a pedophile ring that's operating in the Colorado state government, the most important consideration I think for everybody out there is, do you know of actual kids that are being victimized right now?
No. This has been part of the thing is we don't so there's 2, let's see how much I can say here. There's two sides to this that's going on. One is the representatives that we were given names that they're doing this. Okay. We don't know children or anything like that. It was just these representatives are doing this. We've had that confirmed many times over by different people, different whistleblowers, but not with kids' names or anything like that. Okay. So then there's another side, which is how this works in the House, the Senate, and up into the governor's office. And that's a different type of investigation because it involves places and I'll just leave it at that. It involves places. And so that doesn't include children, although some of the people, I'll just leave that there too. So there's kind of 2 sides. We don't have any children's names or anything like that. We don't have like pictures of kids that they're taking somewhere or something. We don't have any of that stuff. But that's what these 2 teams are now looking for.
They're investigating
Yes.
and looking for that. I think that one of the biggest problems that many people have had is whenever an allegation like this is made, action needs to be prompt, quick, swift to make sure that kids are not being victimized. So that's why
Right.
I asked that question, because I would assume, and I don't want to make too broad of an assumption, but I feel like after the first episode, getting to have a good conversation with you, I know that if you knew of victims that were being victimized, you would do whatever it took to put a stop to it.
Yeah, I'd kick the doors in myself. The problem is there's a few things with that. The FBI has had this information now for quite a while. It doesn't involve kids' names, but I don't know where they are with the investigation. When the last time I got not the last time, but about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I got a text from Tom Shea from the FBI. He was asking me some more questions, and I said, hey, where are we with all of this? With everything that I've given you and all this? And he said, well, we cannot talk about an ongoing investigation, which I totally understand that. I'm not picking on him for that. But I feel like there's a part of me that's like, but I'm the one who told you. Shouldn't you tell me something? But it doesn't work that way. And so they, but they keep, they called me, they text me, and they ask me more, so I can see where their line of investigation is going according to what they're asking me and some of these kind of things. And then now, it's not true. They did tell me one thing a couple texts ago. This may have actually been a phone call, I don't remember, but they did say, well, we did this, and it was right in line with all of the information that I've given them. So that was encouraging to me. It doesn't look like they're sitting on their hands, but I don't know. The FBI doesn't do things quickly, so that's why I was still looking for another group, and we just came across a group. This is what they do. They hunt for kids being trafficked, and they rescue kids being trafficked and those kind of things. And so now they're on board, and then they hooked me up with another guy and said, hey, you got to talk to him, interview these guys, see if you want to use them. And they're a whole nother type of investigation, which is going to be pretty exciting once that kicks off, which should be here in the next couple of weeks, because we think we've got the money to do it now. So
I have a couple, I'm going to say technical questions. So as a detective, I've said this on many podcasts, we turn over every stone. We ask every question. Even if it looks blatantly obvious, we dig to make sure so that we are taking not only probable cause for the arrest, substantiate the warrant, we want to get a conviction. We want to get a long-term conviction on heinous crimes. When you came out and you said, I don't originally, and I'm paraphrasing here, so correct me in whatever your vernacular was, I don't trust CBI. I don't trust Colorado to investigate this. I'm going out of state. If you come in and you're elected governor, what does that state to CBI? Do you feel like there's then a partnership, or do you feel like that they're going to sit back and go, well, he didn't even come to us in the first place, so are they going to work nice together? How do you see that playing?
Well, I'll use the FBI as the example of how I did this. I did go to the FBI, in a different state, but that guy connected me with Colorado FBI, and he told me, gave me a guy's name and said, this guy, you can trust him, and these are the reasons you can trust him, whatever. So he set me up with the leadership, which was two people, and Tom Shea was one of those people at the FBI in Colorado. So I just went and had, before I gave him any evidence or anything, I had it all with me, but I just sat down with him and I talked to him for a while.
Okay.
And I'll give you something that happened that actually, and I talked to the FBI about this because it really bothered me. There's a representative in the House that told one of my campaign team members, he didn't know the guy was my campaign team member, but he had known him back in the day, like they were police rangers or whatever that program is, kind of thing. And he said to my campaign guy, well, the FBI, how do you say it? The FBI reports to me. So anything and they have not said anything about this, and I've talked to them, and they said that Scott's not working with the FBI or anything like that. Now, at that time, I had not come to the Colorado FBI. And so my friend said, the FBI reports to you? And it was in his office in the Capitol, and he said, well, maybe not report, but I've got people there and they keep me up on everything that's going on. Well, first, that's not true. Okay, the FBI is not going to report to a state representative on anything. And so when I got to the FBI, I told him, I said, this is the guy that said it. This is his name. This is what he was saying, that you guys report to him. I said, so do you see why maybe I don't trust you guys? Do you see why maybe with everything going on at the federal level, why I don't trust you guys? And we sat there for about 30 minutes, and they basically were saying, this is what we do, this is how we do it, we'll be accountable this way, all these kind of things. And and I did tell them, I said, look, I'm going to trust you because I really don't have much choice. But you understand that I'm going into this very reticent. And they both agreed and said, that's fine. After we talked for a while and a few times, I said, what would you like me to say when I'm doing town halls or anything? What would you like me to change my story or do something so that I'm not changing who I am or what my story is about this, but I'm changing about the FBI? And they said, you can say whatever you want, but we would just appreciate if you would just say that you are now trusting us, and that if there's any whistleblowers that is tied to this, that you would send them to us.
Okay.
And I said, I can do that.
So 2 more questions for me.
Well, let me, and something else that's important. So I've had 2 other people come to me that are major whistleblowers, not in this arena, but in similar kind of arenas. And I've immediately sent them to the FBI and I told them I'm sending them to you because I am trusting the FBI a little bit. CBI, I've never had any conversations. I don't mind sitting down and having those conversations. But here's my thing with them and anybody else. You got to earn my trust. And I've seen too many things as a representative that says you can't trust these people at some level. So they have to earn that from me. And what I will also do is make sure that CBI has some investigation on some of the things I've seen over the last few years when I'm governor. I will investigate.
So an
those.
internal audit.
Yes.
Okay. So second question, and this is an easy one. There's a lot of people out there that are going to hear you say things that are ambiguous, vague, can't go into, it's being investigated. As somebody who's ran many investigations, we don't share information, specifically when somebody comes over, especially on something heinous. But it could be something baseline, very simple. If an investigation is started, we don't really release that information, especially if it's an ongoing investigation. There is, however, one thing that's always connected to any investigation, that's a case number, no matter what. So once an investigation is launched, there's a case number that is attached to that. Have you been given a case number, or have you been told that there is a case number for the investigation that was launched?
I don't think I have a case number, but you know what I'll do right now?
Because we could vet that in 60 seconds, right?
Yep.
Like we could establish, because if there's a case number, then the investigation is authentic. If there's not a case number, then it's somebody telling you we're looking into something. And those are 2 very different things. So I wouldn't waste man hours running, in a local law enforcement agency where I served, putting guys out doing something, unless there was a at least reasonable suspicion to go look into a probable cause to effect arrest or to establish a case therein. And if we establish a case, we're immediately putting a case number on it.
Yeah.
That's why that matters. Because if people hear that there's a case number associated with this, then it dispels any rumors whether or not this thing is moving forward. Now, what direction it goes, that's up to the investigators that are doing it. But the case number establishes the baseline.
Yeah, I've never asked for that.
Did you?
But they could
did
tell
you
you
just
that.
ask for that?
I just texted the FBI and asked him for a case number.
Sweet.
So we may get that.
So if he gives you a thumbs up, there's a case number on this. I just want to say this to the whole world. That quells all of the questions, whether or not, in my opinion, because claims are, you've come out, you've said this stuff, it's not true, they're not here. Well, there was just an arrest that was affected a couple weeks ago. I don't know whose campaign it was related to, but there was somebody that was arrested for some type of sexual abuse of a child or sex exploitation of a child that came out of the Gold Dome.
Yeah, he was the GOP chair of Weld County.
Okay.
And he had been in the House for a while. He was in the Senate. He was actually Senator Kirkmeyer's staffer for a while.
Yeah.
A couple other people staffer. Now, when I do think it's important because I always get the question, did you have anything to do with that? I had nothing to do with that. That was sheriff. That was he wasn't on my radar. He wasn't any of the names I had talked about.
Did Steve Reams, was he involved? I mean, as far as the arrest goes? Sheriff?
Well, no, I think it was Larimer County that did it.
Okay.
Now, Steve may have been involved. I don't know, but he interviewed me the other day on the radio, and he asked me questions about Hunter, the guy that got arrested, and he didn't say anything about it. I don't think he was involved.
Okay, because you said Weld County. That's the only reason.
Well, Hunter was the chair of Weld County, so they probably kept some of those guys out of the loop and came from Larimer County.
Well, it would go with the originating agency of where the crime would have been established.
Agreed. Okay, so if he texts me before we're done here today, I'll give you the case number.
Perfect. And I don't even need the physical case number. I'm not even asking for that. I'm asking if there is a case number. If he says, yep, we've launched a case number, it's attached to this, bam, then you're off to the races, because that clears whether or not there's authenticity into this, that somebody's digging into this.
Yep.
What they find, that's a different story. But your allegations come from the fact that based on whistleblower testimony, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So anybody that's ever tipped me off in law enforcement, that's a whistleblower. I mean, I don't care what the crime is. Right. It's like, hey, Dave down the street's doing drugs, Okay, whatever. You start digging into it. It always starts with something, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to start with gubernatorial candidate Scott Bottoms. It could be starting with somebody who saw something, told something to somebody, the next thing you know, 10 people are talking about this. But the investigation matters.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to clarify on that, because that's the one thing that I've not heard anybody speak about yet.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about it until you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
We had Barb on, and this will end this segment, and we'll have some fun. But this will end this. We had Barb on, and she was talking about mandatory reporting requirements. And I'm sure you've heard her commentary on the situation. But for me, and I think for most people out there, it's still just it all goes to the victims. I mean, obviously we want to see the criminals behind bars, but I think what really needs to be stated is that it sounds like this investigation is tied to things that have been alleged against people that have happened and been in the past, maybe not active or ongoing. Or is this an active pedophile ring? Because if it's active and there is real true victims right here, right now, then that's obviously, I think, where people paint this into a different light of thinking something needs to be done right now. Yeah. So what can you say to that?
Yeah, I've heard all that. And I am a mandatory reporter because I'm a pastor. I think everybody should be mandatory reporters. But here's the thing with that. To be a mandatory reporter, you have to have a kid's name. So I would ask, and back at you with the same question. Okay, what do you think I should do?
Well, I need to know more information before I can say that. And I think that that's the place everybody needs to be in right now, because everybody's jumping to conclusions. Well, Scott should do this, Scott should do that. And for me, I'm just wondering, is there victims that are being victimized right now? And I think that the information you have on the inside, you would most likely be able to make a pretty accurate discernment of the situation to know if there's something that you can do to save harm from real victims right now, that you would do that.
I would. I wish I could, because I feel very strongly. I don't have like ongoing proof of this, but I feel very strongly that kids are being hurt right now by the people that I'm talking about. Again, I didn't, I wasn't part of the Hunter Rivera investigation or that kind of stuff, but he was. They caught him actively pursuing kids and things. Okay, so and this is always been in my head with this, and I'll use Barb Kirkmeyer as an example because she's the one who came out so strong against me. She's never one time come to me and said, "Hey, how can I help? Is there any, I'm on the Senate side, you're on the House side. How can I help?" The reporters that attacked me on TV and all this stuff, Kyle Clark has never said, "How can I help?" He's also never investigated this for 1 second. The only thing he's investigated is whether he thinks I'm hiding information from the public. Okay. He said something else the other day, that he had called all 65 sheriffs to see if what my claims about the Venezuelan cartel are true. He lied. We called sheriffs. They didn't get a call from him, and they said exactly what I said. And so instead of actually trying to help, trying to investigate, my thing with this is, why is nobody out there investigating this and trying to help me investigate this? Now, that's an assumption because I don't know. Maybe there are people that are doing this, but the group that finally came to me and said, "Hey, we want to help with this," they had heard, I had talked to them, there was some things, and all of a sudden now they're saying, "Hey, we want to help." It's because they didn't know some of the stuff earlier. And now they jumped in to help. They're the first group in 2.5 years, and I've been saying this at almost every town hall, meeting, forums, everything. The only reaction that I get is, "He's lying, he's part of the problem." And these people are saying, well, if I would come out with all the evidence, then we would be able to save these kids, okay? Which wouldn't happen. The evidence that I have, specifically on the one side of the investigation, is not going to tell you who these kids are. Now, with that being said, instead of them all doing that, if they really cared about the kids, why has not one person that so deeply cares about these kids come to me and said, "Hey, let me help you"? I am not a federal investigator. I'm not a federal prosecutor. I can't do. So I come out on the news tomorrow and I give some names of some representatives. What happens then? What is the next step? I mean, seriously, that's always what I ask myself. And when I talk to the FBI, I talk to them. But here's the question. So I give you 3 names right now.
Okay.
What happens?
Hopefully those people are investigated, but I understand.
Well, the FBI already knows the names, so they're already being investigated.
All right.
But I'm saying for the public and everybody that's saying,
do you think that it's possible for like these private groups or individuals or somebody like Barb or somebody else that you've mentioned not offering help? Whenever you came on our show the first time, I said it right away. I said, whatever you need, whatever you can provide us. We want to help you, anything that you need. And that's still our posture. You got a former law enforcement here, and I'm a civilian, but I think that civilians have the ability to be able to move faster than law enforcement at times in certain situations. And so I think that you're absolutely right to call to action everybody, because you shouldn't have to carry this alone, and we shouldn't also have to wait on a slow and broken system, and that is the government. And if there is real victims, then there should be people who care enough to say, what do you need, Scott? How can we help? How can we find some private investigators to go and maybe tail some of these guys, or dig into some files, or dig into some history, or try to uncover some things.
Right.
I think more people do need to get a fire under them and say, let's help Scott figure out how to deal with this, for sure. But I think that the thing becomes, okay, protecting the information so that the public doesn't discredit it, and they don't, the people in these rings aren't able to put their ducks in a row and defend themselves. But being able to maybe trust some private groups, like it sounds like you are doing, and giving some of these names for investigation to be able to be doubled up, doubled down on with civilian groups, private groups, and law enforcement, maybe the middle road. I don't know. But
well, here's one of the things I have processed, and I did talk when I was originally talking to the FBI in a different state. I did, and I said this in a debate, so I can say it here. It was in Georgia. Okay. So when I was talking to them, I said, oh, so if I just announce these names, what happens? And the very first thing he said was, the public will go into a frenzy, and it's going to cause way more problems than it's going to help. Because now you got, so I don't have the kind of evidence that you can put them in jail for this shit. That's what the FBI is doing. So I just announce these names, and it becomes a witch hunt for these people. Or the opposite, I get attacked by these people or sued,
right,
or whatever the case is. I stand by what I'm doing. I have not made the names public. The FBI knows them. My team I'm working with now knows them. They're the only other people. My campaign team doesn't even know who these people are. I have not said their names because I don't want them on the hook for this. That's a big responsibility, right? And so the team is doing it, but I don't know how to get into the dark web. My team does. I don't know how to investigate. What am I going to do? Go sit in my car outside somebody's house and try? How do I investigate this? It's not, I don't have that ability. And if somebody came to me and said, hey, I'll do all of the private investigative work for this. Okay, I will help you I will give you the information if I trusted them, which I do trust the team that I'm working with. But, I don't have anybody standing at my door saying I'll go sit outside their house for 20 hours or, it's a big deal. And I can't. I've never been able to do it. And so it's also not what I do. I'm not a private investigator. I don't know how to approach that stuff. But again, there's always the assumption, and I'm not picking on you with this. I appreciate you guys' questions with this. But there's always an assumption from the media or somebody that I haven't actually talked to the FBI. Okay? Well, you just saw me text.
Yeah.
You have to take my word. I mean, I'll show you the text. I'll show you some of the stuff he said before, but I delete those texts all the time. I don't let them sit on my phone. They're probably on my computer, but not on my phone, because I don't want somebody to accidentally, be popping through there and see this. But I can show you the last 2 or 3 texts that we got. But I am talking to the FBI. I have been doing this. I'm not holding this information back. I don't want these kids to go through this stuff. I cannot stand pedophilia. I wish we had the death penalty in Colorado for pedophiles. But
we do have PR bonds, though.
We do?
Yeah, we have those. The case number, the reason I brought it up is it substantiates it, Scott. It null and voids all the argument at that point in time. Again, where it goes, that's to be determined, but the case number matters.
Yeah.
So if you get that answer, that's good. One last question. And in no way, shape, or form release sources, but I will ask, did the information come from within inside the Gold Dome? Were the reporters coming to you saying, hey, we need to get in front of it? And specifically, why did they come to you? Why did they not go to pick any one of a dozen other names?
That is the first question I asked too, right? So this was a while back, and I was having a conversation. We were talking about this subject, kids, pedophiles. We'd had some bills come through that we couldn't get any traction on. We couldn't get pedophiles put in jail. They get on probation almost 90% of the time right now. We couldn't get any traction anywhere, doing everything we can. And so I'm having a conversation with a handful of people, and a Democrat representative was standing there. And they pointed to another representative that was walking by, and they said to me, he buys children. It's exactly what they said.
You pointed at somebody?
They pointed to, another representative. He buys children. And I'm like, what did you just say? And then they elaborated just a little bit, a couple sentences, but not like I can prove it or any of that, So I'm like, why would you do that? What, you're telling me now I have to do something. I can't with integrity walk away from this conversation. And in my head, I'm thinking, and this is exactly what's happened. In my head, I'm thinking, when I start down this road, my life's messed up. Everybody's gonna come after me because I have nothing that I can do. So I began to talk to them more. I talked to them a month or two after that. A couple more times, hey, can you tell me more? Well, we think this, or we think. I'm like, no, I need like names. I need all the same things I get asked. I was asking them, and they gave me a little bit of information. And so I said this at a few times at some town halls and things. And this was literally 2.5 years ago. And all of a sudden, I'm getting all these people come up with whistleblower stuff. Well, I've seen this. I saw this.
But in the House.
Most of it was in the House or the Senate or the governor's office, a trail. And so I got asked the other day, I don't remember where I was, but it's been in the last week or so. So do you have specific names of senators? And I said, no, I don't have specific names. So you don't actually have any evidence for the Senate? I said, I don't have senators' names. But there's a lot of people that work in the Senate, a lot of staffers, a lot of people, and I do have names. So, and then the whistleblower stuff goes all the way up into the governor's office, and some of that is I can't even get near describing some of that because it would be too evident, obviously, what I'm talking about and where I'm talking about, and that would blow up an investigation that actually includes some very hard evidence of locations and things like that.
Okay, one last question, and then we're going to bang some lead. Is there any reason you think that this is not going to get prosecuted?
So here's where it comes for me with this. We need a Republican attorney general. Okay, because Weiser's not going to do anything with this. I've brought this out before too. They're not directly tied together, but they're not tied together. When the Epstein files came out, there's a guy that lives in Colorado, is on the Epstein files, is really good friends with Polis, Governor Polis. There's also another guy on the Epstein files, and I have all of this information, but I'm not investigating it. This is not part of my stuff, but it's telling that is very good friends with Attorney General Weiser. Okay, so if they are tied into the Epstein stuff, Polis is not important in the investigation side, but Attorney General Weiser's not going to investigate that stuff. And we constantly pass bills in the House day after day after day that make pedophilia easier in Colorado, that make human trafficking easier in Colorado. How would I have any confidence that our Attorney General is going to do anything with the information when he's part of the machine that is causing us to be the most pedophile-friendly state in the United States? So even when I'm tenderly walking toward the FBI, and the CBI works more within the state, so that's why I have not gone to them. We talked about that. But even as I go to the FBI, I'm like, so the team that's helping me investigate this, they said, how much of this did you tell the FBI? I said, everything you have, I gave to the FBI. And he said, there's a good chance that the FBI has already gone and told these people that you're the ones on their list. And I said, please say that's not true. And he said, I've worked around and with the FBI for years and years. He said, to assume that they won't is pretty naive. He said, hope they won't, but don't assume that they won't. And so now I can't sleep that night, right? Because there are people that potentially know I've got them in my crosshairs, and the investigation I've been talking about for 2.5 years is them. So that causes me concern, right?
We're going to talk offline.
Well, I think that hopefully most everyone out there would agree. The most important thing that we should all have on our minds is protecting kids.
Yes.
It all starts, it all stops right there. That's it. And so we will make the commitment to you again, Scott. Anything that we can do to help with this, we're here for you. Anything and everything that we can offer, any support, any funds, anything that we can do to come alongside you and help with this investigation. We would be among those people that are out there that say protecting the kids, that's where it all has to start. That's the priority.
I wouldn't have done any of this if it wasn't about kids. Let's say the same scenario happened and this Democrat representative said, he robs banks. I'd be like, tell the Attorney General. I mean, they may not do anything, but that's not going to get in the top of my concern to push. I can take care of something like that when I'm governor. But the reason I started doing this is because of kids. It's the only reason. It's because of kids. And I'll say this on the camera too, but when we get offline and we talk later, I'll let you know the people that I'm working with, because you guys know them.
Okay.
You would know their names. I don't know if you know them, but you know their names.
Sounds good. It's been a good discussion. We'll continue the discussion a little further later, but let's put some lead down, Rich.
Let's see if you guys have loaded my gun with bullets.
This is sparkling water, just in case anybody is questioning what I'm popping open here.
On me?
On you.
All right.
Oh, you're shooting my side for me? Yeah, you're. You thought you were the white ones?
Am I the black ones or the white ones?
You were the black ones.
Okay.
Here,
Well,
we'll reset it. Oops, tripped the safety. Okay.
all right. I will shoot the black ones.
Yeah, you shoot the black ones. I'll shoot the
All
white
right.
ones.
Instead of getting a platypus or that other 2011, man, I mean, you already got one Nighthawk. Let's just make it two.
Yeah.
So my bullet's not sending them over. Are you watching that?
I'm watching that.
It's going clink, clink. I got to hit it like 6 times in a row to get it to.
Yeah, it bounced over a couple of times. Let me reset it. There we go.
All right. I got my sight better though. I figured that out.
Figured out where to compensate, where
Yeah.
to get your holdover on there. Shooter's ready.
Yeah.
Beep.
Beep. You want to go first?
Sure.
Go ahead. Sure.
Maybe. Maybe I'm
there
not
it is.
ready. I got to sight this
Good
thing
shooting.
in. Something's not right.
Shoot these paper targets.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't mind looking horrible.
This is hey.
We're going to edit out the misses,
This
brother.
is
We
where we're gonna.
got you.
This is where
Well,
we're
no,
gonna
he's
finish.
got to sign his paper target. It's going on the wall.
I ain't
at
got
the
to sign
studio.
nothing. You're not the boss of me.
Okay. Okay.
I'll let you know when
Teddy,
we get to
you
that
need
point.
to fix this game in 10 seconds, right now.
What I'll do is after
here's the
this,
thing.
off camera, I'll run him through some stuff.
I ran my mouth pretty good on their show. So
Yeah, he did. He had some pretty bold claims.
You want to shoot with my gun for this one?
I could try that.
I think it might help.
I'll do that. I won't finish loading this.
Give it a try and see what you think, sir. There you go.
Let me
Perfect.
go to one of the smaller ones real quick.
So hopefully make them
Hey, look at that.
better.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. What am I doing here now?
That's a
Tell me again.
Cheeseburger.
All right, we'll make sure that the video knows too. All right, now that we've had some fun, it's time to get a little serious. We're gonna do our very first competition here. We've got paper targets up. We're using the exact same paper targets for each gubernatorial candidate. In this first one, we're gonna be doing 10 rounds, 1 ragged hole. It's gonna be that center big circle target. Try to get 10 rounds as close as you can to that red circle in the middle.
Got it.
We can go first so that it takes a little pressure off, huh?
Whatever.
All right. And there it is.
All right.
Da-da-da-da.
10 rounds, 1
What?
ragged hole. That is not 1 ragged hole.
It's all in the head.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Just so you know what I see? I see a hazy yellow.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yep, I see a hazy yellow. That's all I see.
The results. All right. Mine, Scott's, Micah's. Mine, Scott's. That's his group, just one off the paper. And then we got a compilation of Micah and Teddy here. That's amazing.
These are my 3 favorite ones right here.
Yeah.
Those are all.
Awesome.
I'll take those.
So here's what we're going to do next. 6 shots. This is supposed to be timed. I forgot to bring a shot clock today, so that's dumb. But we will, based on whenever we're recording and we say go, we will have the seconds on the clock on how long the video is. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just trying to shoot all 6 of these as quick as we can. That's it.
Okay.
Shooter ready?
Ready.
Excellent. Excellent.
We're going to redo this.
23, 24, 25.
We're definitely going to keep that in. We're not editing that out. All
That'll be the blooper reel. The whole thing will be blooper.
right, I'm ready now.
Ready? Shooter ready?
I'm ready.
Beep.
Not a single one, except
you
for
did.
barely touched one of them.
You did. Your first one, or your second one hit it. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Beep. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting there.
No, I think you did. You hit 2 because it's in the gray duct tape.
I
you
think
got
that's
2
more
in
than
the,
6 shots, but that's okay.
I'm just going to
two
keep
in that
shooting until I clear the
symbol.
screen. Oh, yeah, we were supposed to stop at 6. Okay, you're right.
It don't matter. You hit 2 in the one. That's all that matters.
Four, 5, 6. All right.
What are we aiming at?
Nice. Not
The
bad.
3 little,
We were
3
trying
little
to do-
circles.
I
the 3
forgot.
little
bottoms?
circles at the bottom.
I forgot to bring a shot clock.
Range is
We were gonna
cold.
try to shoot 6 of them timed.
Oh, like dot torture. Yeah.
So
1, 2, 3, 4. No, that was there earlier. 1, 2, 3.
yeah, mine
see
was
3
terrible.
hits on Scott's.
Scott's was great.
Scotch
Yeah.
had 4,
Yeah.
right? 1, 2, right in the middle, 3, 4.
And there's 2 here, guys. There's 2 here. This is 2. I used
5.
to grade.
Oh, then there's
Yeah.
3 too. Then
Yeah,
okay.
5.
I used to grade
Man.
targets. Yeah, you can tell.
Okay. For this last one, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shoot 2 shots, reload, 2 shots.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Let's
Got
do
it.
it.
Shooter ready?
Shooter ready.
That was good. Just to the outside.
Don't know where those went.
All right, I'm ready.
He'll be done in about 5 minutes. Take 22.
Yeah.
Edit 7.
I'm going to drop that on my foot because I don't want you to be mad at
It
me.
needs oil. It's hung up.
That's okay.
All right.
Do, Victor.
Yeah, it's hanging up every shot
Man.
now. It needs oil. Fun stuff. Well,
It's a little dry.
I didn't drop
Teddy.
your mag on the ground,
Should have
though.
bought a Glock, man, if you wanted to run it dry.
A little dry, Teddy.
a little dry. Well, to be fair, I've been to 8 range days in the last month and haven't.
Oh, did I drop a line? Yeah.
That's funny right there. I don't care who you are.
All right, you got this.
All right. Ta-da.
Nice. All right.
2 to the lower
All right, let's
left.
go look at the results.
Little lower left. Hey, still in the head.
And here we have it.
Yeah.
Here's the results. That's a wrap for the competition.
1-2, 1-2. Dadgummit.
So,
In fairness,
so if
you
you're
kept
shooting
jamming.
low left here, why are you shooting?
Because I'm not doing reset. So I said when I come out today, I'm not going to pull trigger on reset. I'm going to let it fully extend back out just to see if I can reacquire, because I'm having so much trouble seeing the picture, the
Right.
sight picture. So rather than holding it on there and pulling the trigger, I'm literally just.
Well, you got all 4, basically.
Almost, but I was aiming for this one whenever I hit that one, so that's not good. But it's okay. So we were going to ask one more question that's going to lead a little bit to the conversation on Victor Marx, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about with that. But something that a lot of people online have been talking about is the statement that was made that if he wins primary, there will be no support from you.
Right.
So let's, if you can, maybe unpack that a little bit, just so that you're giving people some context and tell them what they need to know.
Yeah, so this actually started. So Victor and I used to be friends. I had him come to my church and speak at my church, and I mean, I trusted the guy, and then immediately when he declares, we start getting all this information from all kinds of sources of this corruption or this whatever and all this stuff, and they're putting that all online, right? So, and I would tell them when they sent something to me, I'd say send it to a journalist. Send it to the news. I'm not a reporter. And the more I got to looking at investigating it, and I do believe there's still some things that are going to come out that we know about that I haven't seen in the media yet, or it may be out there, but I haven't seen it. So in knowing all of this stuff, I realized and day one when he declared, he lied to me, or he lied about me, lied to me also, but then he went on the radio and lied, and both of those were that I asked him to be my lieutenant governor. I did not ask him to be my lieutenant governor. I'm going to explain this on different shows and things. So now you got 2 moments. This is personal, right? 2 moments that he's lied directly about me. And this is early on in his campaign. Well, then all of this other stuff comes out, and I don't trust anything the guy says. He's conned my church. He's conned other churches. He makes millions of dollars every year going to churches and getting offerings and support and all this stuff for things now that we have seen have been shown over and over and over and over, and they're not true. So how can if I know the guy is not ethical, I know the guy is not, he doesn't tell the truth, he lies. We see all the other stuff that's coming out in all of these different radio shows and podcasts and all this stuff. I mean, 30 radio and podcasters can't be wrong on everything. And so when we see all of this, there's no way that I can honestly, with integrity, vote for him for governor. I just can't. Now that does put me at a tricky place because I'm not going to vote for a Democrat, but I do believe you're supposed to vote. So I'm not going to support him. I just can't. It would be the equivalent, in my head, it'd be the equivalent of lying, right? Barb Kirkmeyer is way over to the left. She's basically a Democrat light or Democrat, but she doesn't hide that. She admits that. That's who she is. That's her race. I'm to the right. I don't agree with her on most of her stances, but I would still support her in the run for governor because your options are Bennett or Weiser, and it'll most likely be Bennett. So I have to support her. But yeah, I can't. And here's something that a lot of people are missing, because I've been saying this actually for a couple months now, is it would be politically expedient for me just to say, yeah, I'll support him, because I think he's gonna drop out before the primary, but he's not gonna be elected. So it would be easier for me to say, yeah, I'll support him, because let's say he even wins. Yeah, I'll support him. That helps me politically, because then everybody's like, oh, go team. But for me to come out and actually say, look, because of my integrity, because of my character, I cannot support him. It potentially hurts me politically. But everything I do because this is who I am. It's the complete honesty of who I am. I don't lie to people. I don't spin stuff to get votes, any of those kind of things. When you vote for me, you know exactly what you're voting for. And so to be continuing to be honest with this, I can't support him.
So let's just say if, and obviously I don't know the future, nobody knows the future, but if he did win the primary, would you just at that point say, hands are tied, I'm not voting for anybody?
No. I would vote for somebody. But here's the thing with this. If he gets the vote out of the primary, he wins the primary. You realize the media has stacks of stuff against him. Stuff they haven't even brought out yet. We know this because we've talked to some of them. And they're just waiting. They're hoping Victor Marx gets elected in the primary. They're hoping that he's our Republican candidate. Because then what happens? We have no candidate. They will destroy him in a few weeks. And he won't even get 500,000 votes. And that's not what we're building our state upon. And so we won't even have a candidate. So what would I be voting for at that point? I mean, they're going to destroy him. That's why I do believe he's trying to save his ministry right now. His ministry is crashing and burning, and all this stuff that's happening, all this media stuff. Yeah, you still got some people that are holding on to him, but they're bailing every day. We're getting so many reports about this, so many emails, that his followers are bailing like crazy. And every time he does an interview, they bail more because they see a little bit of the real him. And so I don't think he has a chance anyway. But yeah, if he does, now the entire Republican Party is stuck because he won't get votes in the general election. He's too broken. He's too corrupt, and the media will blow him up. I mean, literally, the primary June 2nd, by June 5th, he's going to be so blown up, there's nothing left.
So let's just be abundantly crystal clear, and let's just play a massive what if. Okay, so he's the one who wins primary, let's just say, and then we're in the general, and whatever happens. He gets smeared, whatever happens, he's losing voters. You said you still vote, so obviously I know, and it's a dumb question for me to ask, but obviously on the opposite side, we've got Phil Weiser, we've got Michael Bennett, we've got corruption on a whole nother level on the other side of the aisle. So you won't support him, you won't, and you've made that clear. And I understand your reasonings, why I understand your conviction. And I admire whenever somebody stands on conviction and wants to walk in their conviction and they don't compromise on that. But at the end of the day, I mean, how many elections and votes have we had to have whenever the candidate is so clearly not perfect, far stretched from perfect, but we still make the choice of voting for the one who's going to at least be the better choice?
There's still a better choice out there. Greg Lopez is 10 times better choice than Victor Marx.
Okay.
So Greg can't win, Victor can't win.
Okay.
So which one do I vote for?
So you would be supporting Greg Lopez?
If Victor Marx gets the nomination, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that because Greg's going to get 3 or 4% of the vote. Victor Marx is going to get 10 or 11% of the vote. And whoever the Democrat is going to carry the day. They're going to get 2.5 million votes. This is maybe 3 million votes because we don't have a candidate at that point.
Right.
If it's Barb Kirkmeyer, we still have a candidate. I don't think it's the best candidate, but we have a candidate. But if it's Victor Marx, we don't have a candidate. So it's not, like you're saying, it's not, well, you know, these guys are bad, so maybe we should vote for Victor. Well, I'm not going to vote for those guys either for the same reasons. I think Bennett and Weiser both. Weiser is crazy corrupt. I've called through resolution in the House. I called for a special auditor to come in the state of Colorado to investigate Phil Weiser, the judicial system, and the Supreme Court. They shot it down. The Democrats did, but we're still going after that. We're still pursuing that. Phil Weiser is broken. He's corrupt. Bennett's no better, but Victor Marx is the same thing. I cannot vote for broken and corrupt. I won't do it on the Democrat side. I won't do it on the Republican side.
Well,
now, I can vote for a Republican that is not exactly like me, and I don't think she would make a good governor, but she's still better than Bennett, Weiser, Marx, all of them put together. She's still better. But yeah, Victor is, how do you knowingly put a con man in the governor's office to not just con churches now, but to con the state? I can't do that.
Well, thank you for your answer. Thank you for providing some clarity, hopefully, for those out there. We've wanted to do our best to make this obviously worth your time and answer some questions that are out there that we've seen circulating that people want answers to. But this episode certainly is not about Victor. This is about you and your run for governor. And we are here as the Daily Carry Podcast to just get alongside all the candidates, get information out there to the voters, and do our best to just help in any way we can push this state in the right direction, which we all know is God's direction. And that's ultimately the goal. And I know that you are a man of faith. I know that you are a pastor and you have a congregation that you represent, and you also have constituents that you represent in the House. And with that integrity and that conviction that you've talked about, I'm thankful to know that there's a man who's running, who will run on conviction and will not compromise, will not sell out. But with that same vein of thought, if we could wrap this question, this conversation up with what you could speak to people out there, a word of encouragement, a word of hope for what it would look like if Colorado were to get on the right page and get on the right path.
Well, this is actually some very good information that's going on that we've been building for over a year now. And it's stronger right now than when we first began this, is we know that the Democrat base, the Democrat voter, the average Democrat citizen, is very much not okay with what the Democrat leadership is doing. And so we know that they're pulling away. We've been targeting about 350,000 Democrat votes is what we need. One of the cool things that's happening that we did not include in that is the rural communities. We were just in Otis last night. In the rural communities, the Democrats are pulling away in a way that they normally don't do. Normally that's like a yellow dog Democrat. I don't know if that's the right term, but they just vote Democrat. It's not, it doesn't matter, Democrat. And that's not happening this year. We're seeing in the rural communities, even though we are targeting the I-25 corridor, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, for those 350,000 Democrat votes, and we have been for quite a while, we're actually getting a lot of good connection and a lot of good feedback from the rural communities where these people that have just always voted Democrat are not. And it's not because of economy and potholes and stuff like that. Those are major, major issues. But Democrats don't ever come across the aisle and vote for a Republican and for those things. Never have, never will. But what they are is when a Democrat tries to run a bill, it greatly was pushed off the counter, which is wonderful. When he tries to run a bill that says we're going to legalize prostitution, your rural Democrats are saying, what? Then they find out about the transgender bills, and they're saying, what? Then they find out about the boys and girls sports issue, and that I ran a bill for that. It's going to be a ballot initiative. It will be voted in. 85% of the state do not want boys and girls sports. So all of a sudden you got Democrats that we didn't count that are coming out of the woodwork that are going to vote for me as governor. We're seeing the unaffiliateds. They're strongly moving, not Democrat or Republican. They don't like that conversation, but they're moving toward protect kids, parental authority, those kind of subjects, which are my subjects, right? So they're going to vote for me in overwhelming numbers. Plus, they're looking for, and this is the same with the under 30 crowd, they're the number one demographic moving to the right. The under 30 crowd is looking for a strong leader. That's why they helped elect Trump so strongly. They were the number one demographic that moved to the right. So we are seeing this Hispanic community moving to the right. They're wanting a strong leader. They're wanting somebody like me. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to say things that I won't follow through with. By the time we get to the election, some of these things that I've been talking about, even that resolution that I talked about, we didn't make that public for a long time. Nobody knew that we were running a resolution for calling for a special auditor. That alone, that fraud alone that we uncovered is over $30 billion. That's why the Democrats wouldn't let us run the resolution. Also because it included Attorney General Weiser. But we're not going to quit on that stuff. I'm not going to quit on the pedophile conversation. I'm not going to quit on any of this stuff. Even if I don't get elected, I'm going to keep going. Well, guess what? Democrats, unaffiliated, Hispanics, and the under 30 crowd, they're moving with me. And we know this is the year that we can do this. I don't think it's hyperbole. I'm not trying to be just overly naive. I really do believe I'm going to be the next governor, and it's going to shake up Colorado, and it's going to shake up the United States. So get behind us. Get behind the getting people out to vote. We can do this. This is our year, and we don't have to just keep taking it. We can actually do something about it.
Well said. Thank you. Very well said. Appreciate you coming out today. Jared always wraps things up, but I just want to say, man to man, I really appreciate you addressing the pedophile question. I was pretty upset before when I heard somebody say, well, he's not going to do this if he doesn't get elected. And I'm like, please don't let that be the case.
No.
So that means a lot to me, somebody who has been a victim a couple of years when I was young, small town Kentucky. I sat down last night, it's kind of interesting, something I've never done before. So I will put this out to the world because there's a lot of people questioning people's integrity right now and things. So I went on last night on a thing called Google Earth, and I actually found the house on the roadway where it was at, able to identify it, able then to do a search, and it is indeed the name that I thought it was.
Wow.
So, you know, for people that when you're young and you go through these things, you can make a choice to carry them, you can make a choice to fight them. I made a choice to go into law enforcement to arrest the people that did it.
Yeah.
And I made a choice to do what I could for the private groups that are going out. So you in the State House, it means a lot hearing you say, hey, look, we're investigating this. There's much I can't go into. I respect that because I know it's true. That case number is there. It substantiates that this thing is legit, and let the investigation be what it may.
Yeah.
But it meant a lot to me when you said that.
Thank you. And one other thing, I don't bring this up, I've only said it 2 or 3 times, but I think this is important too. So I was given names by whistleblowers. I turn that to the FBI, right? If I get out public and I say those names, what if they're not guilty?
Sure, you can't do that. And I would advise you as an investigator not to do that.
I could destroy somebody's life because I want to grandstand on some radio show or TV show or something. I'm not going to do that.
Agreed. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to share it with somebody, like it, subscribe, leave a comment. And Scott, where can people find you to come alongside you and get involved, learn more information, and support you on your race for governor here in Colorado?
You can find me at scottbottoms.com. Pretty much everything you need is there. On all the social medias, I am Scott Bottoms CO on all those, and so those are the two places you can get to me.
Awesome. Well, we've enjoyed it. It's been fun, and we close every episode out with prayer, and we'd invite you, if you're willing, sir, to say that prayer.
Yeah, sounds good. God, we thank you first for you. We humble ourselves before an almighty God that is truly transcendent and holy, majestic. So God, thank you for just giving us another day to serve you, another day to pursue you. And Lord, I thank you for these guys. I thank you for giving us a day today that we can just hang out. And Lord, this has been a very nice, relaxing afternoon for me. And I thank you for that. And God, help me shoot straighter and better. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. It's been an honor, privilege.
bro.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Too.